Welcome to episode 32.
Episode 32. We're getting old.
We're getting old. Midlife crisis time.
I think we might retire on episode 50, so
let's get to 100 subs before then so we can do T-Pad. We are doing today.
Well, Azrael and Aaron.
Yep.
You should know that by now.
And if you don't, you know.
Poser.
Yeah, for a fake fan. Today we are dabbling in the studio album by the 13th Floor Elevators, known as the Psychedelic Sound of the 13th Floor Elevators.
Which I think is a terrible album name, but...
It is very long. And who are they to say that their sounds are psychedelic? That's for me to say.
Literally
and
them.
They are.
We'll get into it.
I know.
13th Floor Elevators.
Sick album cover, though.
Badass
Way
album
sick
cover.
album
I
cover.
like the
Y'all
album
need to
cover.
definitely look at this. Oh, wait. Control
Plus.
Shift. It's just Shift Plus or Control Plus. Look at that. Yeah, feast your eyes upon ye awesome album cover.
Upon an eye.
An eye within an eye. Yo,
Yes.
looks sick. We should do it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess for you probably 50s.
50s. You didn't see that, did you?
I did.
Well, you're wrong. Dang it, I didn't move my... Well, you guessed about right.
Okay.
Really, but we won't spoil it. He wasn't a mile away, but he was wrong. I'm going to guess
I
for
beat you this week.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I know this is like your favorite 60s rock album. Well, I'm not sure if that's even true. It's at least your favorite.
Probably up there.
Okay, yeah. It's at least your favorite psychedelic rock album. But I don't know. Like maybe Abbey Road is higher. Maybe The Doors' self-titled is higher. I don't know. I would hope so.
It's probably up there pretty close too. So.
So my guess for you. What I know you've kind of grown out of love with 60s music. So I was gonna guess like a 140.
Okay.
But I swear to God, if it's in the 200s, I'm gonna be pretty shocked. Not because it's bad, but just because I don't know if it constitutes material worthy of the 200s. Because that would imply almost all plus twos and some plus threes.
No, all plus twos would be a 200.
Yeah, but in the 200s, implying above 200, right?
Yeah. First time hearing it for me was I had been loving Pink Floyd for about a year and a half, Dark Side of the Moon.
Greatest album of all time.
This album kind of popped up. I can't remember exactly how, but I discovered it and was way stoked. And I was smoking a lot of weed when I listened to Pink Floyd, but when I started doing psychedelics, that's when this album came up. And this album with psychedelics, bro, is fucking
like Dark Side would be better for that.
No.
How is it not?
Dude, there's literally a forum that I read. This isn't how I found them, but this is literally a forum that I read back in like high school when I was doing psychedelics. That was, what kind of music should any music recommendations for taking acid and mushrooms? And then the little prompt was like, and don't tell me Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Pink Floyd is like, okay. Probably their earlier stuff is way more like their second album, Saucerful
like
Secrets.
Vibing out, like if you want to vibe and get existential.
It's not like that. That's when you smoke weed.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Psychedelics are way different.
Yeah.
It's not your vibing out. It's something's vibrating you into something else. I don't know. Okay. But this album does the fucking trick, and I will get into it. I've got some descriptions. No, dude, it's just, I don't know. I'll get into it and maybe you'll understand by the end. But what about you? First time? I know you've heard about it for a while, right?
Because of you. Really? You were the guy to say that this is a band I should check out? Because when we were in our early days back in 2020, 2019, no, I knew you before 2020. So like in 2020 or 2019, I was hitting my 60s stride, and you said that these are like the guys to listen to. I listened to a song and I was like, I'm not, I mean, this isn't like the 60s that I was looking for at the time. So I didn't continue diving, but now that we had to do it for Music Sucks, I probably gave it a good like 10 spins, maybe even more, because it's a pretty short album, so it's not that hard to do.
Nice. They are a band from Austin, Texas, formed by guitarist and vocalist Rocky Erickson, electric jug player and lyricist, and primary creative force, although that might be debatable, Tommy Hall, and guitarist Stacy Sutherland. Those are the big three of the band.
Okay.
Stacy Sutherland, Tommy
Stacy,
Hall.
a girl?
No, it's a guy.
Oh.
Stacy Sutherland, Rocky Erickson, and Tommy Hall. The band was together from 1965 to 1969, 4 short years, and released 4 albums. I had always compared Rocky Erickson to Syd Barrett in my high school days.
Okay.
He's the Syd Barrett of America.
Okay.
They were the first band to refer to their sound as psychedelic, with the first known use of the term appearing on their business card in January 1966. Specifically, Tommy Hall is credited with the term.
Wow.
Influences include ZZ Top, Big Brother, and the Holding Company.
Whoa. ZZ Top?
That's what they said.
Predates the mid-60s?
I always thought ZZ Top was like 70s, but that's
too.
what I read.
There's no way that... What?
Formed
In 69. As in his first album was 1969.
I'm guessing ZZ Top was more of their solo act influences.
Okay. Because, yeah, he's definitely a 70s and then 80s guy.
Yeah, even Big Brother and the Holding Company is like
this
late
album,
60s.
Bro, this album cover goes crazy. This is like peak cheesy dad rock right here.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, but
the album cover is good.
Big Brother and the Holding Company, I mentioned them before. Janis Joplin was in them.
Go ahead and mention them again, real quick.
The Big Brother and the Holding Company, California band, psychedelic band. They were there with Grateful Dead.
Stuffy, bro. Your cat's killing me.
Hubert, get. Do I need to tell him to leave? Go.
No, I'll just kiss him.
No, go.
What's Big Brothers and the Holding Company?
Yeah, it had Janis Joplin in it. She's 27 Club.
Yep.
So Zachary Thax was also an influence. Their music has been covered by television, Their music has been featured in television, covered by Parquet Courts, and featured in TV show True Detective, which I'm watching right now at your house pretty much every day. True Blood, a Dell Computers ad, the movie High Fidelity, Le Bon Route, a 1996 album by Dennis Tech of Radio Birdman. What am I saying here?
You tell me. Bro.
Basically, he wrote a song and it was an ode to Syd Barrett and Rocky Erickson.
Okay, that's cool. I don't know how that was so hard to say.
Dude, look at the way I wrote it. Read this whole section.
Their music has been covered by television, Parquet Courts, and featured in the TV show True Detective, True Blood, a Dell Computers ad, the movie High Fidelity, Le Bon Route, a 1996 album by Dennis Tech of Radio Birdman said the song was an ode to Syd Barrett and Rocky.
What song?
I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm writing here, but
I like how you include a Dell Computers ad as a TV show.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I wrote it all fucked up. So, but it was included in all that. So they're praised by many people and bands such as Queens of the Stone Age, who suck, Black Angels, Television, Spaceman 3, Spaceman 3, Primal Scream, and many more. Actor Johnny Depp said, quote, "They were basically the first psychedelic rock band, 1965. And if you listen to old 13th Floor Elevator stuff, Rocky Erickson especially, his voice, and then go back and listen to early Led Zeppelin, you know that Robert Plant absolutely copied everything from Rocky Erickson."
What?
And it's amazing. And Rocky Erickson is sitting in Austin, Texas. He's just there. And Robert Plant is a huge hit. It always goes back to those guys, you know? I fucking love those guys. That was Johnny Depp. So, people love these guys. to some degree. Their name is said to have originated because tall buildings in the U.S. lacked a 13th floor. Also, the first letter of the word.
What? For real? Because
Yeah.
of superstition?
Well, also, this is another rumor that the first letter of the word marijuana is M, and that's the 13th letter of the alphabet.
That seems like a stretch.
Yeah. They had all been kind of making music prior to formation, but their first songs together were picked up by the International Artist label and re-released. Leading to their success, they were highly popular among counterculture advocates. By 1968, the band was affected by the erratic psychedelicized behavior of Tommy Hall, and the mental fragility of Erickson. A similar thing happened to Syd Barrett, who was frequently hospitalized.
Yeah, great.
Their last album was largely the work of Sutherland and was initially disliked but has been praised today. Janis Joplin almost joined the band instead of Big Brother in the holding company. That would have been super interesting.
Whoa,
but
yeah.
drug overdose and legal problems left the band in a constant state of turmoil, and as Rocky Erickson was admitted to a psychiatric hospital after a felonious marijuana possession charge of a single joint. That was a felony. The band split.
Whoa.
Sutherland is said to have heavily pioneered the use of reverb and bluesy acid-drenched guitar sounds.
That
Hall
is distinctly psychedelic, yeah.
Yep. Hall innovated with the use of the electric jug. The jug was a crock jug with a microphone held up to it while it was
What
being...
is a crock jug?
I'm not going to be able to describe it, but look it up. You think of a jug for like kitchenware stuff. That's what you'll see. Yeah.
Electric jug. It's just like a kitchen
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Pretty
This
much.
is an instrument?
He made it an instrument.
Oh.
I mean, this looks like a modern, but
instrument.
I think it was like a porcelain thing at the time when he was
Oh,
using
you're
it.
blowing into like a big old jug.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
So he came up with the electric jug. The jug was a crock jug with a microphone held up to it while it was being blown, which sounded like a cross between a mini moog and a Kuika drum.
I don't even know what
Probably
that is.
pronouncing that wrong, but instead of blowing into it, Hall vocalized musical run into I gotta start checking my notes better. I think he vocalized musical notes into the mouth of the jug to create an echo and distortion in his voice. Live, the microphone was placed next to the jug, but in the studio recordings, the audio engineer placed the microphone inside of the jug.
What? That's sick.
Yeah, so shows by the band were often played on LSD. The band built a lifestyle around the psychedelic experience. Timothy Leary's philosophies, remember Timothy Leary?
Yep.
John Lennon's
guy.
buddy or whatever?
The guy.
Influenced the band's lifestyle as well as tantric meditation. The band cycled through many other members, but the main three were the founders, Sutherland, Hall, and Erickson. Erickson's subsequent experience in the mental institution had worsened his mental trouble. He attempted a sporadic solo career like Barrett, but was mainly screwed over by his management teams. His first royalty check for his music ever came in the 90s when he released an album under the Trance Syndicate label, owned by Butthole Surfers' King Coffee.
What?
Erickson then began receiving more royalties from that moment up until the 2010s. He died 4 years ago today.
What? Wow,
He was
that's
71.
brilliant. That's a pretty good age
4
for,
years
like,
ago,
a crackhead
anniversary, so
tweaker.
we came around perfect time for this album.
That's crazy how perfect that timing is.
Yeah. Sutherland, however, formed his own band, Ice, which only performed and didn't release material. He was imprisoned on drug charges at the culmination of legal troubles with drugs and had a heroin addiction. He drank heavily once released from prison.
It's freaking lame that people don't drop music, bro. That would have probably been a sick album for you, at least.
No, I don't think Stacey Sutherland was really I like Tommy Hall and Rocky Erickson, but he drank heavily once
Is it Tommy Hall of Hall & Oates fame?
No. He drank heavily once he was released from prison and was shot and killed by his wife Bunny on August 24th,
What?
1978 during a domestic dispute. He was 33.
Who's this fool?
Stacey Sutherland, the guitar
Stacey.
reverb pioneer guy.
Sutherland. What wife? She a baddie? She worth getting killed by?
Probably not.
She looks way innocent. That's crazy.
She looks like John's girlfriend. John, watch out. Your girl about to fucking
kill yo.
castrate you and you'll sleep. Tommy Hall, however, main creative force, currently lives in San Francisco. He was rumored to be the true identity of an outsider musician, Jandek, but this has since been disproved. He became a devout Scientology follower in the 70s and has told interviewers he no longer thinks of himself as a musician, and I lost my jug years ago. He is 79.
Bro.
Sad, bro. This band is so sad.
Fell into the freaking...
One of them was killed. One of them was brainwashed. The other was a Syd Barrett. This band is tragic, bro. That's who they are. It was their first album. It was recorded from January 3rd to October 11th of 1966.
So nobody could... It is impossible to say there was any psychedelic music being created in 1965 then. By 3 days. That kind of sucks. That'd be cool to say.
Yeah.
Psychedelic music started in 1965, but no.
Yep. It was their debut album together. They recorded it in Dallas, Texas. Genres classified as psychedelic rock and garage rock.
That's a pretty 50-50 blend of those two genres throughout the whole album, so solid.
It is number 73 for 1966 on Rate Your Music with Zappa, multiple Coltrane records, Herbie Hancock records, Revolver, Pet Sounds, and Bob Dylan being rated higher. Also the Seeds album I sent you.
The Beatles.
Revolver.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also the Seeds album I sent you a couple nights ago. That I was like 1966 or whatever. That was 79, so slightly after this album.
Way after. 1979?
No. It was a 79 overall for 1966 on Rate Your Music. Yeah. It is rated as a light red.
This album?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Kind of by critics. Personnel, besides the three founders, obviously, Benny Thurman and Ronnie Leatherman did bass. So 2 bass guitars, which is weird because bass generally doesn't clash very good with it itself. And John Ike Walton did drums and percussion. Produced by Leland Rogers and mixed and engineered by Bob Sullivan. Liner notes and lyrics advocated chemical agents such as LSD as a gateway to higher non-Aristotelian, so like Western philosophy, non-Aristotelian West philosophy, linear thinking state of consciousness. Advocated for LSD as a gateway to that.
What? Wow. These guys are very...
Well, and a gateway to basically not that, because non-Aristotelian West philosophy, linear thinking, state of consciousness. So
I like thinking linearly, like in a
LSD will not help
way.
you do that at all.
Yeah, that's why I don't do drugs.
That's all I got for the album.
I just got to say, I don't have anything about the album research-wise, but I think it is insane how appreciated this band is for the grander progression of music of the 60s. Like the Beatles are given so much credit with Rubber Soul, and then the Beach Boys, of course, with Pet Sounds, but this literally started psychedelic music.
Like you say, you don't care so much about the production. This band was sonically groundbreaking.
Exactly.
Beatles and Pet Sounds were like production sound groundbreaking.
And those albums are more pleasant, so maybe like more likable to the average
It's definitely more
person.
conceptual albums. But in terms of like generating, like this Stacey Sutherland guy started doing things with reverb nobody else was doing. I do talk about it a little bit, but like
this album
Electric Jug
is really important. It should be in the conversation a lot more when it comes to like important albums of the 60s. Like
100%. It should probably be the top one, I think. I think this is the most important album of the 60s. The 60s was defined by the psychedelic movement of music. And this was the psychedelic album of the 60s.
But wait, hold on. When did this song come out? Yes, that's what I thought. House of the Rising Sun by the Annals. We both agree that's a pretty psychedelic-y song, right?
That whole album
bluesy. Yeah, I've listened to the whole album.
Fairly
Let's see what
psychedelic, but I mean, it wasn't doing shit with
reverb. Was
reverb.
1964, which is insane. That
but that wasn't doing shit like these guys were with reverb and the Electric Jug.
Let's check. So the Animals, the band, right? Let's see what this album is considered. It is classified as no. There's no psychedelic in here.
I could see it though as being a little
British
psychedelic.
R&B, Dude, like the synth, like the synth organ on the end of that song is way psychedelic.
But it's not.
Seems
They're
like
lacking the
dark
reverb and like
That's
the
true,
weird
that's
electric
true.
and like even the lyricism and
true.
vocalism. Like,
So I wonder if I were to look up because I don't know if you know, but you can go by genres and then see what the first release was. I wonder what the first release of psychedelic rock was. 13.4
Okay.
Elevators.
based on according to Rate Your Music.
According to Rate Music, which they know deep cuts more than any band I've ever seen. 1965, 65, The Seeds, The Yardbirds, The Kinks. Ooh, this is really blue balling, isn't it?
This is pretty suspenseful.
I know. EP. Album.
Volume 1, the West Coast Pop Art Experimental
I have
Band.
heard of this band.
But
heard
what
of this
was
band.
the release date?
Dang, that album cover is so sick. See, so it must have been, if there are two albums in 66 that have this look, this must have been a thing, a movement already happening during this time, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, release date. I mean,
But I don't think nobody called it psychedelic sounding until these guys did. First known use of the term came
Why
from
is it just a gray?
blob.
Came out 1966. That's all it says. This album comes up earlier in Rate Your Music, which seems to imply that it would be the older album because generally it's sorted by day, but I can't actually find a date that.
So
this
what's the
album was
next
released.
album then?
Okay, let's see.
Underground 12.
Underground 12. Another thing I've never heard. 7 reviews ever? This is a compilation of underground music. That's kind of sick, but doesn't seem like what we are looking for here. Holy crap, there is so much obscure music on this website. Album, Love's first self-titled, The Fugs self-titled, 8 Miles High by the Birds. That's undeniably psychedelic. The Seeds first album, The Lynx, Unchained. Bro, this album's nothing, bro. This album's unimportant. I'm kidding. I actually don't know if these are actually sorted by date.
I mean, this album was released pretty late in the year.
Freak Out, Mothers of Invention.
I would definitely call them avant-garde and psychedelic in a way, but this literally sounds like you're on psychedelics.
Fifth Dimension, The Birds has a way psychedelic sound. Some of these songs.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that these guys were the first to coin the term, though.
8 Miles High, that song's sick. But yeah, I guess, who knows? If not the first, then one of the most quintessentially psychedelic sounding albums.
I will say it's
1966.
probably the most psychedelic album I've ever heard.
Nah, Ultimate
Like
Spinach?
in terms of
literally
replicating
feeling?
like like the reverberation like effect and like the echoey
Reverberation
and like the weird sound effects of like the monkey and the fire engine and
we'll talk about those songs.
just like hallucinating
I
like
don't know what to
weird
say
things
about
like
those
that.
songs.
But anyways, that's all I have on the album.
Dope. That's all I have on the album.
So we can get into track 1, right?
If you insist.
Song for
You can look around and you'll find, girl, you're gonna find that I've come home. You didn't realize.
You're gonna wake
I
up,
will.
bro.
So you're gonna miss me, right? Is that what it's called? Yeah.
You're gonna miss me.
I will just go ahead and say you cannot miss the electric jug on any of these songs.
Every song
it's
has
so notable. There's just like a and like it sounds weird and it sounds
Cool.
very interesting.
I agree.
I will say that to start out, and then you can go.
You're Gonna Miss Me is a catchy, garagey, psychedelic-infused banger with lots of energy, raw, rough, shouty vocals. He has a kind of a higher pitched vocals. I think you made a good point, or Johnny Depp, I guess, comparing it to like Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page,
Robert
because he
Plant.
kind of sings. Yeah, sorry. He kind of sings in a high register like that as well. But Yeah, this guy did it first. It has a very distinctly 60s psychedelic sound that is propelled in its weirdness, especially by the aforementioned electric jug, and I call it a rad song. But none of these songs are particularly like groundbreaking or sorry, like sonically crazy textured or anything like that. So there's not going to be much for me to break down when I do
Right.
sound breakdowns.
And
That's where the garage comes from.
yeah. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we mentioned in the last episode that something. What did we mention in the last episode about this album? That's what it was. We mentioned in the last episode that albums are meant to be listened to in order. This album, not so much. It doesn't really matter. You can kind of shuffle it.
Yep.
You'll get
It's
the
not
gist.
like it's by no means a concept album. I don't think there's
not
much effort
very
at all
linear.
put to the track listing.
And I think
Which
it's linear,
fits, yeah.
which because of the psychedelic context. Or I think it's not linear because of that
Yeah, I
psychedelic
agree. It kind of
context.
fits the vibe.
So I said, I love the screaming and the harmonica on this track. They're all just high-pitched and annoying. The lyrics themselves are pretty typical and nothing special, but they're almost comical to me within the context of the instrumentation. But yeah,
Are you gonna incorporate the electric jug into your instruments someday, into your catalog?
this is the only band I've ever heard it in.
I know, huh? You should bastardize it.
Sample it.
Yeah,
I'm down.
sick.
Probably just recreate it on a drum machine or some shit easily, but whatever.
Boring.
Made
Get
that
jug in your life, fool.
sound.
Oh yeah, I was there for that. You made a sex mode using a drum machine.
Straight up
Sounds
took
so
me like
stuffy.
60 seconds to get it. It's so easy to, those things are crazy powerful. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
This song is known as Roller Coaster.
I have so much on a lot of these songs, bro.
Gosh dang it, I don't. Roller Coaster starts off with a darker, almost like Mission Impossible style guitar. It kind of reminds me of the Mission Impossible guitar. You know what I'm talking about?
I'd talk about it, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like slowly sung, dark psychedelic, garagey vibes, and it starts off like that, and then it sharply gets into like a little bit more of a faster pace, kind of matching more of the energy of the first song. I don't really have much else to say about it. I like this song a little bit better though, due to its more brooding nature, and the guitar riff is particularly cool.
Yep. So the guitar riff on this song is so tangy and spooky, and I definitely feel like it's the hook of the song. It's just so catchy and raw and poppy. The way that it's not poppy the way that like pop music is. It's like poppy the way the notes feel like they're popping from one note to another, like the way they're hammering onto all the notes. Yeah, I like how the tempo subtly picks up throughout the song. The lyrics are so dumb in retrospect, but for acid heads, they might reverberate with you. They're literally just about how LSD and the psychedelic experience can be mentally beneficial and profound, but it definitely feels like they're pontificating and saying you're brainless unless you take LSD, which is insanely dumb. But like I can read some of the lyrics, dude.
Yeah, do it.
Things appear as they really are. I can see just what I wanted to see. Come on and let it happen to you. You got to open up your mind and let everything come through. Well, it starts like a roller coaster ride. So real, it takes your breath away. It slides through your point of view. You look back where you thought you'd stay. Your ride changes outside view. You know, they're just telling you. They literally say after you trip, life opens up. You start doing what you want to do, and you find out the world that you once feared gets what it has from you.
It's almost like, and I've been on a history kick, so maybe that's just my history nerd coming out, but like being on the frontier of like the psychedelic experience when this was all new and not really understood at all, almost reminds me of like the age of exploration. Like you land
It
on this,
100%
like,
was.
an island that's unmanned. You have literally no idea.
That's exactly what
to
the book Ken Kesey's Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test is about, dude. It's like exploring this unknown land.
Yeah, it really is like
So-
an unknown trajectory.
It's true.
One of the last like fully unknown things that mankind has conquered.
I want to call it like a scape, like a landscape or mental scape or something. But yeah. Next song.
Next.
And now I'm home. And now I'm home.
Now I'm home.
Splash 1. Now I'm home.
Yep. This is a more mellowed out psychedelic track with a more breathy, reverby spoken vocals in place of raw, groggy vocals, which is accentuated by the beautiful sound that happens during the chorus when him and backing vocals sing together in harmony. It sounds very nice, and they hold that home note in a very pleasant, pleasing way. As delicate guitars and drums play softly in the background. A very pretty song for such a groggy band. Otherwise, one of my favorite songs on the album.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Huh. I said this song is so relaxing to me. The lyrical delivery is just cathartic when he says, now I'm home, like you said, and just reminds me so much of my third point from my personal notes, which I'm going to read real quick.
Go
I don't know what the fuck that is. Third point. So many memories on this album. Okay, here we go. Psychedelic experiences can be very powerful and life-changing, and when I was heavy into psychedelics, this album was always the album that I almost always put on. And so this album just accompanies such a strong and profound memory or set of memories, and it's super heartwarming and cathartic for me sometimes. It was the album of my time spent using psychedelics at least once a week for like 8 months straight. So 8 months straight, I would like hear this album at least once a week, just taking LSD or whatever, and it was always just such a grounding album. And so this song brings back those memories so well. It was always a song that helped me either gain control or lose control, I guess, depending on how you hippie idiots want to look at it.
Oh my god.
I love the instrumental section 3/4 into the song, albeit it's short, but it's so nice.
Yeah, it is a very short song, but it's very pretty. This song and one other,
Well,
like immediately.
the instrumental section is short. The actual song itself is, I think, the second longest on the album.
The whole album is pretty short. It moves
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah. That one.
Reverberation.
Track 4, Reverberation.
Reverberation.
Coincidentally, this song isn't as reverb heavy as a lot of the other ones, but
Yeah, huh?
okay.
Super true.
Except for maybe some of the vocal parts. But
Yeah, when they say reverberation. Reverberation goes back to
And
the
the bass.
groggy sound, except with an emphasis on lower sounds with a very prominent bass line. And even the chorus is sung in like a lower register. Sounds very cool and a lot more psychedelic than some of the other tracks in terms of like that dark, moody type of psychedelic that I am a fan of.
yeah, I got a short one on this one. I just said this song is badass with the reverb on that bass. The bitch penetrates your skull and knocks you upside the head. You listen to this with headphones, bro, and it's just
Yeah,
and like you're just getting knocked up, and hell, you get knocked down.
Bro.
The chorus is also super lethargic feeling. It just makes you like, I just remember like this song comes on and I'd lay in the grass and just like look at the
that
sky
sounds
and the
sick.
clouds move and just fucking, I did not want to move. My face was just being,
Yeah, that's so sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep.
Track 5.
Don't fall down. A good one. A good one.
You go first, dude. I got a lot on this song. Look at this.
For whatever reason, Jesus, dude. For whatever reason, this is the song that is the most catchy and sticks in my head the most. This is a song that I think about the most with this album. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's my favorite, but it is the one that I think about the most. It's kind of this like casual slacker psychedelic rock, right? The back and forth between the singers is also saying kind of monotone and slackery. Don't fall down. It's not very enthused, but in a way that sounds kind of cool. The lyrics are on the surface singing about a woman, like a love interest, but clearly it's all a metaphor for like psychedelics or, you know, like ego death, all that hippie bull crap, mumbo jumbo. At the end,
I mean, it's cool when you're like 16, but after that, it's like,
nah, I still think that stuff's kind of cool, even though I don't dabble.
after that, it's like, grow the fuck up and get a job.
The one negating point that I don't particularly love on the song is the high pitched.
I like
At
it.
the end,
It's like track one, all high
I don't
pitched.
hate it, but it's just a bit abrasive given the rest of the really relaxed, like slackery, garagey psychedelic rock. And the guitar riff is cool enough to more than make up for that one little annoying part. So not an issue.
All right, I got kind of a lot. So this song is my favorite song on the album. God, it brings back so many memories. It's like the song that just makes you laugh so hard on LSD, just how much you want to dance to it and how absurd the lyrics can be when interpreted literally, especially like the don't fall down. It's like you're trying to stand up, like you're just tripping, and it's like don't fall down. It just makes you laugh so hard. The backing vocals are just so soothing and funny, and the chorus breaks down this part and then builds back up with a drumming anthem that just drags and drags and drags until the toms on the drums just pound faster and faster and faster, and then finally it all drops back down into the silly don't fall down. So relaxing.
Yeah.
Such a memorable and powerful song to me. I always interpret it as like a thing where you just accept the absurdity of all things, and then when you do, you become like a boneless, formless mass of organs, and you just flop around like a slinky, and the music is trying to help you not fall down when you lack a skeleton in this way, and you're just tripping and being absorbed into the leathery reality around you, and you're just being squished into like space itself or some shit. Also, the aggressive treble chord strikes at the end that are way punchy, although they lack the bass to maybe be considered colloquially punchy, but to me they're just reverby and ring out through your head at the down 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 down. Yeah. And that's just like such a powerful like stroke of the guitar, dude, and it's so sick. Definitely a garage thing there, but that's just a perfect way to end the song, and it's just like you're laughing the whole fucking time. So it's a fucking awesome song, and it brings back so many memories.
Better not be a +3 though.
It's a fucking +3, I'll tell you right now. There's two +3s on the album.
This guy.
Fire Engine.
Fire Engine. One of my lesser liked tracks.
Same.
Oh, okay. It's I call it a wild track with lead vocals screaming that line in a way that I don't particularly like the sound of. I can't really take the siren-esque oohing that seriously either. Like the backing vocals are oohing to try to mimic the sound of like a siren, like a fire truck. It's a fun track, but not that cool when compared to the other tracks that are much more of a vibe.
Yeah, I said the first mid song on the album. I like the guitar production. Again, it's kind of like poppy and not poppy in like the colloquial sense, but like
you explained it already.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Pops.
I like the guitar production. I just said that. It's got the high pitch like reverby quick strikes of the notes that all sound outdated and raw. The vocal delivery on the song is just melodically uninteresting though. The crazy guitar solo at the end is kind of sick though.
I didn't even really know the guitar solo until you pointed
It's like
it out.
15 seconds, yeah, but just them just fucking going crazy for the last little bit. I mean, they're probably way into it by the 3 minutes into the song. They're probably just decided to go crazy.
Fair enough.
Thru the Rhythm.
Thru the Rhythm has a good rhythm to it.
Yeah, it does.
I kind of say it's similar to Reverberation, and it's deeper. It's like emphasis on deeper sounds and a prominent bass line, but it's a bit more. It's a bit more hype, fast pace. Maybe no, it's about the same to be honest. They're very similar tracks. I do like this song better though. It has cool
Reverberation?
psychedelic lyrics, yeah, and I think much better riffs and like guitar, like fidgeting. Like there's some like solo actions going on, and the guitar work is just much better on this song.
Yeah. This is my second favorite song on the album.
Fair enough.
+3 again.
Wow.
Again with the plucky electric guitar sound and then the twisty drilling rhythm guitar perfectly in tandem with the bass notes just sound so lush and rich. Like they both play the exact same notes. And I wrote something down that in my personal yeah, I don't know exactly what it is about the instrumentation on this album, but the bass and the guitar always seem to be perfectly in tandem. Sometimes they play the exact same notes, just in different octaves. Obviously, one's bass and one's treble. Sometimes seems so clever, although it really isn't. Obviously, that's pretty simple for people to do,
right.
but it just works so good and feels so natural. And I love how in this song they do that with that don 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 don
Yeah,
don
that sounds
don
really
don don don. It's so sick. Yeah, it just sounds so lush and rich. That sound, it's so full and powerful. It feels like all these sounds are then formed in this melodic, psychedelic, acid-drenched melody that just makes me feel like the guitar fretboard and strings are frictionless, and you can slide infinitely in every direction on the fretboard at once. This song used to fucking melt my brain and make it sink into my feet. And then the instrument segue that builds out of the chorus back into the verse where it goes down 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 down.
Yes, that part's sick.
It's just it works its way up the fretboard and it's so fat and melting and just makes your eyes roll into the back of your head. It's like you're in a fist fight with a lunatic and you guys keep throwing hands and missing each other.
What a wild way to describe it.
Dude, it's fucking awesome. That's all I have on this song.
That was very well said.
You Don't Know.
You don't know. Is another one of my favorite tracks. Has a very fun sound, quickly delivered verses, which seem like have a good energy to them, and the seems like the jug is a little more prominent in the song too, which I do like. There's also a guitar riff that I'm sure you'll go into that is really cool. The one you were just noodling along to, like after the chorus.
Oh, at the outro?
Is it the outro?
During the outro?
It's like after the chorus. That's all I know. Has the
Oh, the it feeds back into the verses so smoothly too.
yeah, that part is sick. So just a fun psych garage banger. This is another one I'd call a banger.
Yeah, the reverb on the sliding guitar notes is sick. This song, it's sick on this song, and the vocal suspense and the delivery is soothing, but somewhat anticlimactic. I feel like he says, "You don't know," and then he like builds up the suspense, and he just says, "How young you are," and I was like expecting a little bit more heart and soul in that part, but maybe not. I mean, that's part of the garage.
That is a good.
Garagey part of the aspect of the album, which is fine, but the best part of the song is the "too poorly produced to be evil" outro. Either way, good song. The outro soloing at the end, which I just felt like it was supposed to be evil sounding, but it just sounds so bad because it's all garagey that it doesn't sound very emotionally sinister at all.
Fair enough.
But
Why
it's
do you
definitely
think it
a
was
sick
supposed
part.
to sound evil.
just like the melody itself sounds like maybe it was played in like a minor scale or some shit instead of a major scale, but I don't know. But it definitely feels like it sounds a little bit more negative, for sure, which is what minor scales are supposed to do. So, next song?
Yeah, next song. Kingdom of Heaven is Within You. Probably the most psychedelic track on the
It's got the most reverb for sure.
Yes. It has a slow pace, a deep bassy sound. His freaking speaker, which I've never heard it do this before, was like, yeah, it was like doing the type thing from the bass, which you, one, rarely hear happen from an actual bass guitar, and two, out of expected to have heard it by now, given how much like hip hop we've played, which usually is super bassy, but no, it was this song.
Bass will fucking hit you, bro.
It is very punchy.
I think it's the way they did the reverb on the bass, honestly. Like,
it's super cool.
It doesn't sound super echoey, but...
And someone going like, ooh. Maybe it's the jug, actually, now that I think about it. But
it could be,
like,
yeah. If it was super, like, high rate of, like... to
the point where it just sounds like...
Yeah. That's called audio rate, is when it's, like, going so fast that it just sounds like one.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Sounds like a whale
Super
or something,
sick.
but it sounds way sick and adds to this trippy feel.
This is the song that was on the True Detective show I just watched the other day.
This is probably the coolest song on the album.
I can forgive you for thinking that.
I don't know if it's my favorite, though. I don't really know if I have a favorite. Splash 1 stands out. There's a handful of songs that stand out, but I don't know if I have a specific, this is my obvious favorite. This is not like 4-4. There's no 444.
Don't fall down. Don't fall down.
Okay, whatever.
I'd rather hear that than 444.
Oh, give me a break.
Just kidding. I've heard it so much in the past few years that I'd rather hear 444, but I do respect the song more. I said this song is the most absurdly reverbed song on the album, and it sounds so sinister the way the vocals are delivered.
Sinister is a good way to put it.
I do like the lyrics on the song, though. The line, "The kingdom of heaven is within you," is way sick. The song makes me feel like there's a twisted, metallic, alternate universe where killing people is considered scrupulous.
Wow. Okay.
Call me a psycho, but that's how sinister the song feels. I did mention while we were like listening to like the bow down 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 down, that just part sounds so lasery and just like dragging out through the fretboard. It just sounds fucking crazy. It sounds like Time, the guitar solo from Time. Obviously worse produced, but like it sounds like, you know how those notes just drag like distorted as fuck like down the fretboard as he like do 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 do, like, you know, when he works all the way down and then he works back up.
Like,
way
more high pitched on.
I know, I'm not talking necessarily about the pitch. I'm just talking about like the aftertone. The aftertone of like hitting the note and moving to the second note. Like, I don't know, the way that those like mesh together, it just sounds like there's a bridge between them, and I just like that bridge is like a laser or some shit. I don't know. It sounds lasery to me.
Okay. Sure, I'll give it to you.
Can we play it? Can we at least play that section?
Yes, please. That's it?
Yeah, that sounds like Time to me. Like the guitar effects from Time. Just obviously worse produced and more garagey, but it's so lasery and I don't know.
I can't say that I hear it, but I love that you do.
Okay. I think it's an awesome guitar sound.
Happy that you think that. No, I'm just kidding. It just doesn't stand out to me as anything particularly of note. But that's
Do you not have ears, bro? Do you not have ears?
I think
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Move on to the next song. All right, Monkey Island. I think this is the worst song on the album.
I agree. We're in agreement today, dude. The vibes, bro. All right. Monkey Island is a fun little silly garbage. I meant garage.
Freudian slip, bro.
It's a fun, silly little garage psych track about living on a monkey island with a bunch of monkeys.
Well, it's like, it's not necessarily about that, but
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah,
And at the end
which
of the
is
song,
fine.
he does monkey noises into the mic. Like whatever monkey noises are, and it's a bit wild, but I can't say it's the worst thing I've heard. It's just a little.
Yeah.
It's like something I'd play on like Curious George for like little kids.
No,
Yeah.
this song would give kids nightmares.
I don't get why you're so freaked out by this album. It's not.
Dude, I think
freaky to
it's
me.
evil as fuck, some of it, but well, also I've taken hella
Inferno and
psychedelics and
Thundercat,
like had bad
that
trips
song
and shit.
Sounds evil to me. I bet that song on psychedelics would be a horrible vibe.
I might agree. I think the lyrics are kind of him telling everybody like, fuck it, just be a monkey, be weird, it's okay to be weird. So I just said it's the next mid song on the album, but interesting lyrics. The song plays with the thought of being weird and strange and uncivilized and caring for nothing with everyone else, so everyone cares about nothing. It's kind of reminds me of like kids playing on a playground but not doing anything at all, just sitting there in the wood chips looking around. Maybe one of the kids is also chewing on a wood chip. Unfortunately, the song just doesn't sound all that good.
Chewing on a wood chip, huh?
Yeah, like they're all kind of sitting there like high as fuck or like on tripping on acid and just looking around, and one of them's maybe like that's what it reminds me of.
Love that.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Happy to hear that.
Last song.
Tried to hide.
Tried to hide.
Tried to hide. Another classic groggy, psych-infused song like the rest of them, except now throw in a very loud harmonica that just kind of squeals into the mic. Not a huge fan of that addition. It's in the first track too, but it's a bit more unpleasant in this track. But other than that, there's nothing really stand out about the song.
Yeah, I said it was also kind of mids, but I might as well make it likable. Well, it's leaning likable, at least I'd say. It looks like my score actually shows it as a 0. So
Me too. That's pretty much how I feel
it's
about
just
it,
not
too.
that interesting compared to whatever else I heard. And honestly, if you don't hear the song, if you don't hear the last 2 songs,
You're fine.
you're not missing anything.
I agree.
First 9, get through that. Like that's like a half hour. Awesome.
Sure.
Except for
yeah,
one track, but
Sure, we'll go with that.
I'll get into, I guess, whatever else I have. I totally understand how some people are discouraged by the vocal delivery.
Yeah.
Remember I first played this album around you in Oscar's car, and you were like, I don't like his vocals, and I get it. I like the apathetic, passionate screaming, and apathetic and passionate kind of antonyms, but apathetic delivery, but, well, no, I guess they're both. He's passionate in the screaming, but doesn't care how it sounds, I guess. And it's a weird, high-pitched, almost annoyance of a sound, and I get it. Might be an acquired taste for some people, but I feel like these guys started a whole new way to do reverb. I've never heard music before this album that's so progressive with reverb, and it's awesome. So many memories of this album. The 60s outdated production tone adds such a psychedelic character to the album, like the garagey sound.
Mm-hmm.
60s garage sounds different than nowadays garage, I will say that.
Of course,
I would
yeah.
not be opposed to a remaster of the album, but I do like this way so much as well. It just feels so stripped of the high-end expensive techniques and technology, and it feels slackish, and I love it. So
It's your vibe. It's your vibe for sure.
yeah, I make no comments on the electric jug because it just has a similar tone in most of the songs, but I will say now that its addition to each song is fun sounding. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but other than that, that's all I got in me
That's all
notes.
he's got in his notes.
Well,
I don't think so. You would go first. Yes,
I would really like to just talk about it.
go for it.
148. You guessed a 140, so pretty close.
Perfect.
Um,
I'm smart.
I got 2. Splash 1 was a 1. Although it's leaning
Oh,
two.
come on.
It's leaning two. That's a really cathartic song for me.
Yeah.
So 2, 2, 1, but I can't be too high on the album. Come on, you know.
Come on, man. Give me
I remember flopping a couple scores. I remember being like, is it really this? Is it really no? And that was one of them. That was a 2 to
Okay.
1. So 2, 2, 1. Reverberation is a 2. Don't Fall Down, obvious 3. Fire Engine 0. Through the Rhythm, obvious 3 again. Those songs are so fucking good, dude. You Don't Know, that's a 1. Kingdom of Heaven, that's a 2. And the last 2 are zeros. So 3 zeros. I would skip a few songs on the album, but 2 3s and 4 2s. Super stoked on this album.
So, as revealed, he already knows my score,
I
but
forgot
you
it.
guys don't.
I forgot
good.
it. What the fuck was it?
So you guessed 50?
I think so.
Reality? 74. With a lot of expected upward momentum, just like with 444.
No 2s.
No, I kind of have a samey feeling about most of the songs, except I could see Kingdom of Heaven go to a 2, could see track 1 go to a 2, Splash 1 go to a 2, Don't Fall Down go to a 2. There's plenty of movement. Through the Rhythm's awesome. This is just gotta grow on me because it's a bit of it's simple, which would imply it would make one assume that it'd be easy to immediately like. But for me, with simple music, I have to really find the nitty gritty stuff that makes me like it to appreciate it. Because when I just hear simple music, my innate reaction
Your
is just
linear
boring.
thinking.
So I'll have to grow to pick out the little simple.
I'll tell you, you'll be able to pick out
nuances.
so much imagery if you just drop like 3 hits of LSD right now and put this shit on in like an hour. Your whole life will fucking change. This album with like, I will say, I've advocated before, don't take psychedelics on this channel. You're an idiot if you do. Take them and listen to this. Now I'm going back. No, I can't advocate for that. That's
YouTube policy guidelines.
yeah,
You
okay.
can say whatever you want. It's fine.
I will say, if you are going to take them, which I do not advise,
He says.
listen to this album. This album will blow your fucking mind. That's the only way I'm going to recommend it, is if you're tripping on some shit. Honestly.
I don't recommend it to the layman, but to someone who's interested in 60s music, I think it's a must listen to. Because this really, I don't know if it's the first, but it is one of the first, and it has a very, very quintessential 60s psychedelic sound. You will probably like it if you're like a 60s music buff, or at least interested in 60s music. Obviously, like Revolver is better, and Pet Sounds is better, and all these revered albums of 66 are better, but this one is very important and should not be overlooked. I think it is very overshadowed and unfairly done, unfairly so.
I agree with that. I know plenty of people who don't take psychedelics who appreciate the album, even though they have taken psychedelics.
Oh, well, no.
No, I mean like really appreciate it, like more than me even.
Oh, wow.
They used to take psychedelics though. I don't know if they listen to this on it, but you either have a high potential to like the album or it's gonna be just mids. But I think it's an amazing album, mostly because of the memories it kind of holds in my brain. So
P-dope. Psychedelic,
PD.
bro. Let's go drop some tabs of meth. What's good meth music? I think I've asked this before.
I was gonna say Nirvana, but
Oh my god.